We will not fund half a country. That's the warning from Michelle Fischbach as the fight over Homeland Security funding explodes in Congress.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Minnesota seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by the direction of the Committee on Rules, I call up House Resolution 1142 and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar number 69, House Resolution 1142. Resolved that upon adoption of this resolution, the House shall be considered to have taken from the Speaker's table the bill H.R. 7147, making further consolidated appropriations for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2026, and for other purposes, with the Senate amendment thereto, and to have concurred in the Senate amendment with an amendment consisting of the text of Rules Committee Print 119-21.
The gentlelady from Minnesota is recognized for 1 hour.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to the gentleman from Massachusetts, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purpose of debate only. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we're here tonight to debate the rule providing for consideration of Senate amendment for H.R. 7147, the further additional continuing appropriation acts of 2026. The rule provides for that the House shall be considered to have taken from the Speaker's table H.R. 7147 with the Senate amendment thereto, and to have concurred in the Senate amendment with an amendment consisting of the text of Rules Print 119-21. Simply put, a vote for this rule is a vote to fund the entire Department of Homeland Security through May 22nd, 2026. Mr. Speaker, I rise today because the American people are tired of half measures when it comes to their safety. Last night, the Senate passed a funding deal that can only be described as an attempt to put a deadbolt on the front door while leaving the back door wide open. They want us to believe they are securing our homeland, yet their proposal dedicates exactly $0 towards our Border Patrol operations. In a world of evolving threats, my colleagues across the aisle believe that we can protect this nation by halves. But the message from House Republicans is clear. We will not and cannot fund only half of our Homeland Security. Security is not a buffet where you get to pick and choose which threats you acknowledge. House Republicans are aligned with the President on this. We will not accept a funding bill that does not support our Homeland Defenders, our ICE agents, and our Border Patrol. If it is important to stop tragedies from happening at our airports, and everyone can agree on that, then it is equally important to stop these events from happening at our borders and in our communities. This week, the country felt the weight of Sheridan Gorman's death, a tragedy that is compounded by the bitter reality that it was entirely preventable, and the result of Democrat policies that allow violent criminals to walk our streets. This loss is a grim reminder that when policies prioritize a radical agenda and the protection of violent illegal aliens over the protection of American citizens, it is innocent families that pay the ultimate price. We need to protect our citizens, and House Republicans will not vote for an even slightly open border. We will not leave portions of our homeland vulnerable while pretending the job is done. We know what happens when the border is treated as an afterthought. Under the Biden administration, America faced a national security risk. More than 20 million illegal immigrants entered the United States, straining our communities to the breaking point. Customs and Border Patrol recorded more than 2 million illegal immigrants were able to cross into the nation without any record of who they were. That is nearly double what they tracked during the prior decade. Between fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2024, more than 388 illegal aliens on the terrorist watch list attempted to cross the border, and most alarmingly, at least 99 illegal aliens on that same watch list were allowed into our country. We saw members from one of the most notorious gangs in the world, MS-13, infiltrate our cities, leading to takeovers like we saw in Aurora, Colorado. That is the result of Democrat hope-based border vulnerability strategies. But we do not operate on hope or whims. We operate on facts and action. Under the Trump administration, we have seen what happens when we prioritize enforcement. In the last 10 months, 0 illegal aliens have been released into the United States. We have proven that when the law is followed and the border is secured, our communities are safer and Americans are protected. The transformation of Homeland Security is further proof that the U.S. Coast Guard, seizing nearly 510,000 pounds of cocaine in fiscal year 2025, a 200% increase compared to the annual average in previous years. And yet, despite this clear progress, Democrats are choosing to block DHS funding, leading to this shutdown. They would rather see the entire department shuttered than to see our border secure. This is a simple, common sense, 60-day, 8-week, clean CR so we can properly pay our Homeland defenders and continue the discussions. It secures the border by fully funding the paychecks and resources that we need. It protects our airports. It supports the president's decisive leadership in allocating TSA funds. It keeps FEMA ready to ensure our disaster response is not a casualty of the Democrats' shutdown. And it guarantees the men and women on the front lines are paid for the critical work they do. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill is a non-starter because it treats national security as an optional expense. House Republicans will not fund a half-baked idea that leaves our borders open and our communities at risk. I encourage my colleagues on the other side of the aisle and the other side of the rotunda to stop holding our security hostage. Join me in supporting this common sense 8-week CR and funding critical needs. Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
The debate over funding the Department of Homeland Security has turned into a full-blown political showdown. Michelle Fischbach didn't mince words, arguing that partial funding is not just ineffective, but dangerous. Her message was clear: security cannot be handled halfway. At the center of the conflict is a Senate-backed funding bill that House Republicans say fails to address border security. For them, protecting airports while leaving border operations underfunded creates a major vulnerability. It's a front door locked, back door open argument that's gaining traction among supporters. But this isn't just about policy, it's about priorities. Republicans are framing the issue as a matter of national safety, pointing to crime, illegal crossings, and broader security risks. Meanwhile, critics argue that the rhetoric may oversimplify a complex system that includes immigration, enforcement, and humanitarian concerns. The political tension is also rising because of the stakes. A shutdown of Homeland Security doesn't just affect policy debates. It impacts TSA workers, disaster response teams, and national preparedness. That's why both sides are under pressure to act, even as they remain deeply divided. In the end, this clash reflects a bigger reality in Washington. Compromise is getting harder. As both sides dig in, the question becomes whether common ground can be found, or if the standoff will continue to escalate.